Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week we've got confirmation of a new bike, a super light seat post, a Greg LeMond tribute act, or kind of,
and our weekly talking point, which is why lightweight aero bikes are the future.
Are they? The future is lightweight and aero. Oh.
Why lightweight aero, or is it aero climbing bikes, are the future?
Yeah, 2019 is already the year of the lightweight aero bike. But why are we seeing so many lightweight aero race machines? I mean, for the last few years, the focus has all been about the aerodynamic road race machine. That's all well and good, but there's no denying about it. They weigh more than the climbing bikes that we tend to see out there. But why now are we starting to see the lightweight aero bikes, Ollie?
Well, I think if you speak to any aerodynamics expert worth their salt, that saying comes from Roman soldiers being paid in salt, fact, then they will always say that a heavier aero bike is faster than a lightweight non-aero bike over any terrain, even over mountainous or hilly courses.
Aero trumps weight.
Generally speaking, most aero bikes are around a kilogram heavier than their non-aero climbing equivalent, and they typically save around 20 watts of aero drag at 45 kilometers an hour. Although this aero drag saving can be more or less depending on the model, but 20 is a pretty consistent number. And this means that even on a course with the profile of a Queen stage in a Grand Tour, aero trumps weight. You will go faster on paper on the aero bike than the lightweight bike.
Yeah, the only situation really where a lightweight bike has that advantage has to be on a summit finish or a hill climb, something like that. Because, I mean, let's face it, there is a caveat that, if the climb is, say, 5% gradient or less, then an aero bike on paper will be faster than that lightweight
even
bike.
when climbing, aero bikes can be faster on shallow gradients. Drag is proportional to the square of speed, which means that the power required to overcome that drag is proportional to the cube of that speed, which means the faster you go, the amount of power you need to produce becomes, well, exponentially higher. And so at the speeds that competitive amateurs, good club riders and professionals ride at, well, aerodynamics is hugely important.
Yeah, that's all well and good, Ollie, but pro riders and team leaders specifically have consistently shunned the aero bike in favour of a lightweight bike, haven't they? You can't deny that. Think Movistar. You get guys like Quintana always riding the Ultimate on the aero, and then Trek Segafredo, team leaders there like Bauke Mollema, pretty often rides the Amondo instead of the Madone.
Yeah,
Just a couple of examples.
No, yeah, I mean, there's loads, but I mean, the heavier aero bike has definitely been a tough sell to team leaders and a lot of pro riders. So having spoken to, pro mechanics, pro riders and, well, bike designers about this very thing, I think there are some reasons for it.
Yeah, first up, a kilo of weight is a lot more tangible than 20 watts of aero drag because you can instantly feel that, can't you? What's the first thing you do when you get a new bike?
Pick it up, feel how heavy it is.
Yeah, that's what everybody out there does. Beginning of the season, you see every pro rider, they just pick it up and they're looking to, and they always ask us actually at races, how much does their bike weigh if we've gone and weighed it?
Yeah.
It makes a massive difference to them mentally.
Second is tradition. Us cyclists are a traditional bunch, right? And it often takes us a while to adopt new tech, even if there is a measurable benefit to it. Now, well, a good example would be everyone laughing at riders wearing skin suits in road races a few years ago. But they soon quickly stopped laughing when Johan van Summeren won Paris-Roubaix wearing a skin suit in a road race rather than a time trial, and then Cav won the World Championships also wearing a skin suit. The next week, well, everyone was wearing skin suits.
Yeah. You went down to the shops wearing one as well, didn't you?
Gainsbourys.
Oh, cheesy. What about then the demands of road racing? I mean, I think that basically that plays a big part in this, doesn't it? Because let's face it, the team leaders, the winners, generally are drafting for a great deal of the race, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're riding in the middle of the pack, so those aerodynamic gains don't really affect them as much.
Well, interestingly, there have been studies into this, they do. So there is still an aerodynamic benefit to riding an aero bike behind teammates and in the bunch, but it is less.
Yeah, and I guess really, quite often a race is won on a climb, something like that, or following an attack. So a lighter bike has that instant advantage, doesn't it? Because you see those attacks go on a steep part of a climb, or I don't know, somewhere out of a corner, something like that. And having that lighter bike is just, well, it's going to be quicker to accelerate, isn't it?
Yeah, the lower inertia of a lighter bike, and I think it's at those decisive moments in the race they feel that the lighter bike gives them an advantage.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, there's an undisputed advantage to riding an aerodynamic bike, but people psychologically seem to feel that they're just a little bit too heavy. So
enter the lightweight aero bike, or the aero climbing bike, for a better word? I don't know. Either way, both professionals and consumers have obviously been demanding this, to have an aerodynamic bike, but it's also light too. I mean, bike brands this year have been all releasing them, haven't they?
Yeah, everyone's making.
Who have we had so far this year? Well, in fact, it's last year.
Well, it was a couple of years ago. It started first, really, I think, with the BMC Team Machine.
Yeah.
Then we had the S-Works Tarmac and the Focus Isalco Max that came out at the end of last year.
Yeah.
This year, well, yeah.
Pinarello F12.
Yeah.
That, at first, we didn't really think it was an aero climbing bike, but on looking at it,
oh yeah, it's definitely aero.
Yeah. Ooyy Zero, SLR.
Yeah, the Ooyy Zero, and we've had the Cannondale new Super 6 Evo and the new Scott Addict come out.
And well, what do they all look like, Ollie?
They all look the same.
Integrated cockpit, check.
Yeah. Slightly downward top tubes often as well, check.
Yeah. Aero tube shapes.
Aero tube shapes throughout, and dropped seat stays. They all have dropped seat stays.
And an aerodynamic seat post as well, or slightly, you know, D-shaped.
D-shaped seat post, tick.
Tick, yeah.
Yeah. The general consensus is that these new bikes are as light, in some cases slightly lighter, than the previous generation of pure climbing bikes, but also significantly more aerodynamic. But not quite as aerodynamic as a full-on aero bike like the Trek Madone. Now, I did some testing a couple of years ago, and we actually found that the new Specialized Tarmac was around 15 watts faster than the previous non-aero Cannondale Super 6 Evo at 45 kilometers an hour, which is a significant saving, but not quite as fast as the full-on super aero bikes like the Madone or the Venge, for example, which were around 20 to 25 watts faster at 45 kilometers an hour. So, you know, it's kind of interesting to see that we've got that balance being struck.
Yeah, could we have reached then peak carbon bike? Is this the optimum blend of lightweight and aero? I mean, you love both. I'm not that fussed about aero bikes.
Yeah.
I like to have a really nice lightweight bike.
I love an aero. I love aero bikes.
Yeah,
but
you obsess over it, but also over weight. You know, anyone who's watched your climbing videos will know that.
No, I think I'm really cool. But let us know what you think in the comments. You know, which would you prefer? Full-on lightweight, full-on climbing, or a full-on aero, or this halfway house, this kind of blend of both. Yeah. Let us know, and let us know which one you think looks the best as well. Yeah. Out of the new bikes that all look the same.
Yeah. Also, by the time this video's gone out, there's probably a new one already been released. So
there probably is.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about that one too. Now, after all that lightweight chat, Ollie, I've been scouring around on the internet trying to find some lightweight components for us to sort of perv over, if you like. And well, a company I found out there is a Spanish company called Darimo, and they've got something called the T1 Loop seat post. Just check that out.
I know. Oof, look at that. It's 90 grams. 90 grams, right? 31.6 diameter. Handy. And just, well, it's 400 millimeters long, but
you're not going to get a much bigger seat post than that either, are you?
I just can't fathom how they've made it that light. But, well, it's got a really lightweight carbon shaft, and then the way that the clamping mechanism works at the top for your saddle is a bit unconventional. So they actually use Dyneema cord to keep the weight down, which is the same material you may have seen on bird spokes as well. Yeah,
I think they use that in sailing as well, don't they? Quite a bit, that sort of thing. So yeah, it just wraps around, and then when you tighten up those bolts, it does its magic. I love things like that. I want to check one out. All right, moving on now to a completely different area. With the Tour de France just days away, Mavic have launched a special Greg LeMond tribute range of clothing. Now, Greg LeMond himself, he famously used Mavic wheels and components in that 1989 Tour de France that he won by the slimmest margin ever, just 8 seconds. Well, with a subtle nod to that victory margin, they've got a jersey, a cap, and some socks with some pretty discreet 8 logos on there, really. Just a nice little touch, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
big fan of that.
In other news, the Scott that we spotted at the Dauphiné has been confirmed, and we mentioned it in our main talking point as well. It's the new Scott Addict RC, and it's been officially launched ahead of the Tour, so you can expect to see the Mitchelson Scott riders aboard this. The bike looks, well, kind of like a skinnier version of the Scott foil. And a big feature of it is, well, heavy integration, particularly around the cockpit. There was loads of information in this on the press information that we saw. And interestingly, they've gone with a 1.5-inch steerer, which the Scott foil also had. And this is a slightly wider diameter steerer tube. It's also found on Giants and Canyons. A lot of bike brands still use a 1.25-inch steerer, but yeah, interesting it's got that. Yeah,
it's been nice and stiff at the front end, isn't it? And well, I think it looks really clean now. Yeah. Total and utter integration. Like you say, in the press pack, it was absolutely full of information on it. But one of the interesting things as well is that they've done away with all of the stem bolts that you can visibly see. I nearly said physically, well, it is physically as well, I suppose. So they've got a magnetic cap which goes over the top just to really clean that up.
Yeah,
and of course, touch. Yeah, it's stiffer as well. Apparently 15% stiffer around the bottom bracket area than its predecessor.
There you go.
Yeah, hopefully you're going to check that out at the Tour de France. You're going there soon, aren't you?
You can see one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's now time for screw riding upgrades by upgrades, where you submit evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your equipment or bikes for a chance to win the ultimate prize, the GCN Eddy water bottle.
One that I've not had my lips around. Right,
well, you can have that one if you want.
It's a bit weird. It's a little bit weird.
Some of them are.
Fair enough. Okay, right then, last week, I need to announce the winner actually, don't we, of last week? You've really thrown my train of thought off. Either way, it was Joe, and it was his wife's fantastic Colnago build. That one was an absolute stunner, and in fact, Joe then sent me an email detailing more and more stuff about that bike. It was great, including pictures of it, but they actually bought it rather than the finished item. Either way, get in touch with us on Facebook to arrange delivery of the GCN Camelback Eddy water bottle. Congratulations.
Well done.
Right then, the first contender this week is Theo from Cape Town in South Africa.
Right.
Theo bought a 2011 Giant TCR road bike second hand a few years ago on Gumtree and never began to imagine how well it would treat him. Theo did many races with the bike and couldn't seem to justify, after so many great rides, why he should trade it in for a newer model. The only problem Theo had was that it started to show its age with a few scratches and bits of wear and tear. Time was running out. Now was the time to give the bike a full makeover and a bit of surgery. Custom paint, internal routing, polished out all the scratches on cranks and rear derailleur, and a new gold chain was agreed on.
Gold chain.
After surgery, it definitely felt younger and now has a few more years in it. Theo can't wait to start training with his new machine.
Right, let's see it then.
Right, here's the old TCR Advanced SL. They were lovely bikes, weren't they?
Yeah, nice bikes.
Absolutely lovely. Look at that paint job. Ooh, Theo, very naughty.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is, isn't it?
Nice. Great job.
That is fantastic looking bike. I love those. What's that bar tape? Has he got some fancy, like, pearlescent mirrored bar tape?
Strange bar tape.
Yeah, strange, but sort of I'm strangely attracted to it.
That paint job's brilliant. I love it.
See,
that's
look,
great.
Side on, that looks just like a blue bike, doesn't it? Like metallic blue.
Polished his cranks and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Cheeky. A polish.
Right, go on then. Who's Theo up against this week?
Theo was up against John from Sheffield in UK.
That's just down the road from where you're originally from.
It is, yeah.
Maybe you know him. I feel sorry for you, John, if you do.
I bet John looks good on the dance floor. Anyway, every year, while helping his dad tidy his garage, John got the usual discussion about his dad's old 1990s British Eagle touring bike at the back, covered in dust, unloved, unridden for over 15 years. And, well, he'd ask his dad, can I have it and restore it? And the answer was a firmly no.
Go away.
Yeah.
Something like that, I imagine.
Yeah. But just before Christmas this year, he was allowed, apparently no. He was like, yeah, go on, you can restore it. Christmas miracles do happen.
Father Christmas.
Wow. And so, half a year later, after he's been restoring this bike, trawling the internet for bargain parts and tinkering in his garage and modernising it and turning it into a racier looking machine, this is the result. Look at that.
Oh my,
Look at that frame.
Yeah. Good work with the decals, stickers.
Whoa, look at that blue.
Managed to find some of those. Bet you found them on eBay.
Look at that.
That looks good now, doesn't it?
I like the orange and the blue with the Didaccia bar tape. That's nice, isn't it?
He's got little orange. Look, he's got orange skewers, orange bolts in the pannier rack.
Good. Those prime wheels. They're good value sort of set of wheels. They look smart, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, don't break the bank. Look smart on that build.
He's got an orange Garmin mount or Wahoo mount, whatever it is, on the bars.
GP4000s as well.
Yeah, look at the saddle. That's like blue with a little orange stripe through the. I tell you what.
The colour coordination is through the roof there, man.
Blue and orange always looks good. Cantilever brakes.
Well, make sure you lock that up if you go down Ecky Road. Anyway, Theo or John.
Yeah, who's it going to be? Vote up there, top right-hand corner. And remember to submit your bikes into the Screw Riding Upgrades, buy upgrades by using that uploader tool down there in the description. Bike of the week time now, and you will remember that last week there was a very special head-to-head. It was the Lotus 110 Superbike up against the Ooyy Zero SLR, new bike that came out. And well, unsurprisingly, or surprisingly actually for me, was the Ooyy. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that.
There we are. I mean, we will have these head-to-heads every now and then when we deem it necessary, because we're kind of like the enforcers of this, aren't we? Only when we think it's
Speaking of which, John, I deem it necessary.
Oh, right, okay.
We should have a foursome.
Right. Go on, I'm intrigued.
So, all the new Aero lightweight bikes.
Oh!
The Pinarello F12.
Yes.
Right? Versus the new Scott Addict RC.
Yeah.
The Cannondale Super 6 Evo.
Yeah.
And the Ooyy Zero SLR. Chuck them all in. All four.
Yeah, you decide up there. Vote away.
Which looks the best?
I think that's the first time we've done a four thingy up there, isn't it?
Mm.
Bike vault time now, and I hope you know the drill, but if not, a quick reminder. If you want to submit pictures of your bike to hopefully go into that bike vault and get rated either nice or super nice, make sure you use the uploader tool found there in the description below. And well, Ollie, what happens, mate, if they get rated super nice?
If they're super nice, then John will ring the bell and...
Correct. I guess I'm ringing the bell again this week.
Yes, you are.
Good to have you back.
Thanks.
Right, okay. The first one in this week, it comes in from Isidore, who, the location, they're from the third rock from the sun. What that means, I don't know, it's a television programme. It's a C4 Joker. Ever seen one of those before?
Yeah, once. Bizarre looking piece of cycling history, isn't it, that?
They were all the rage for about 2 weeks in about 1994.
Yeah, well it is very sort of Saturday morning TV paint scheme on it, isn't it? It's very live and kicking.
This is what we said earlier on about the carbon, you know, how all bikes used to look the same, and then when carbon came along, we got funky shapes. This is funky.
Yeah. But what on earth is that foam thing hanging from the top tube with like Velcro?
Neoprene. I don't know.
What's that about?
Isidore, let us know what that is. This has potential, doesn't it?
It does,
It has massive, massive potential, but I'd love to give it a super nice, but it's just...
What is... I just... That foam with the Velcro thing going on. What is that? That's unforgivable. We can't let that go. We can't let that go. That sets a dangerous precedent if we let that in because of that.
I mean...
It's nice.
Yeah, surely you got pockets on your jersey. Right, who's next?
Right. We've got Eric from Boston in the US of A.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's nice. Conago Master, isn't it?
And again, orange and blue.
Yeah.
Like a bit of orange and blue.
Yeah, it looks good always.
Very nice.
I mean, straight away, we can see valves not lined up.
Mm.
You know, not the best angle to take it at.
Little, big chain ring combo. You've not got it in the biggie smalls.
You could have done some work. The biggie. Don't ever say that again. Don't ever bring biggie into the tech set. Wait, you can actually. I quite like that. It was well done.
Biggie smalls is what we want.
Yeah. Bit of a scratched up seat post. Look.
I mean,
isn't it? Control Tech seat post.
There is potential. There.
Again, potential bottle cage only on the seat tube, not on the down tube.
That is, yeah. Why? Yeah.
There's a few things here going on.
Yeah.
That I'm just not happy with.
I mean, it's a very nice bike, but there's just.
It's a nice bike.
Yeah.
It's a nice bike. Right. Next up is Sam on the Shoreline Trail in Mountain View, California. Apparently, Sam took the long way home. Whenever I hear that. Long way home. I always think of, is it Supertramp?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah.
They play that, don't they, at the end of cricket innings, or batsman's innings.
Yeah,
Supertramp. Either way, it's a specialised, big stem, reflective bar tape.
Well, he's used a flash, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And so then that's brought out the reflective element on the bar tape, but it also emphasises the gold chain.
It does. We always have a winner, don't we, every week?
I like that.
Yeah, MV Wheels. Do you know what? That actually reminds me, when I lived in Antwerp, believe it or not, they used to have sunsets like that in Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the river there, on the Schelde. Nice. Yeah, that is really nice.
I think that's super.
Yeah, super nice, right. Okay.
Next up, we have got Chucky in Hong Kong. I do hope this is not Chucky, as in like, you know, child's play Chucky.
Yeah.
But Chucky has sent us a video. This is a GCN Tech show first. A video submission to the Bike Vault.
Let's have a look at and watch the camera work. Look at this. This is well edited, isn't it?
Do you think he wants a job?
Oh, Chucky. Chuckmeister.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Look
nice
at that.
Bit of SRAM red.
This is like brand new. This is like an advert for the bike, isn't it?
Yeah. Fat GP, fat tubeless.
Yeah.
Tubeless 5000s. Look at that. I mean, he's done. Oh, come on.
Look at that.
That's
beautiful, isn't it? Like,
super nice.
Chucky, super nice. Yeah, super nice. Just for the fact in the video.
GCN Tech show first.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Saw it here first.
Yeah.
And finally is Paul from RAF Cosford, or rather just outside of RAF Cosford with his Dolan bike. It's a lovely looking bike.
Is that in the Black Country? Is it in the Black Country?
Yeah, it's just near Wolverhampton. Yeah.
Paul from near Wolverhampton, RAF Cosford.
Yeah, lovely looking bike then. Again, orange and blue.
Yeah. Look at that Hawker Siddeley Hunter in the background though.
Oh, you know your aircraft. Now, incidentally, there was just 415 of those Mark 6 Hunters produced, and 380 of them went to the RAF, the greatest number of any Hunter variant.
Well, let's completely correct that, John, but this variant actually had improved flying controls over previous versions of the Siddeley Hunter, making an ideal acrobatic aircraft, serving with various display teams, including the Black Arrows and Blue Diamonds. It also had the Rolls-Royce Avon engine with its 10,150 pounds per square tonne output and dogtooth wing leading edges.
Nice.
It was armed with 30mm Aiden cannons and bombs or rockets, which were mounted on underwing pylons, and the RAF Hunter F Mark 6S entered service in October 1956.
Blimey, you really do know your stuff. Weren't some of the later ones as well, the wings were actually modified slightly to be able to carry heavier loads as well?
Yeah, that's correct, they were, and it actually saw service right up until 1963 and still in 1980s as a training role as well.
Well, there we are. A little bit of history there. Beautiful looking aeroplane.
Siddeley Hunter are super nice.
Yeah, definitely. And as for that Dolan, I like that as well. It's nice and clean, isn't it? Valves lined up vertical, big chain ring, you know, middle of the cassette there, optimum chain line.
I've not seen before.
Go on.
Colour coordinated saddlebag.
Oh yeah, and also bottle cages, one orange, one blue. It kind of does the job, doesn't it, that?
I mean, mismatched bottles. Should we let that slide?
I can let that slide because of the beautiful backdrop. Yeah. And also, it's just a clean looking bike, isn't it?
That is, nice.
Yeah, super nice. I've enjoyed that
was good, that
finishing bike,
Yeah, it was good.
Get involved, submit your bikes to the Bike Vault, use that uploader tool.
Oh, aeroplanes.
Yeah.
We like them too.
Aeroplane Vault. Nearly time for the end of the show now, but well, we just thought we'd go through a few of our favourite comments underneath the videos of last week. First up, one aimed at me, where I turned that fixed wheel bike, you know, the conversion one, you know what I'm talking about. Elliot Flowers said, referring to me, I've seen this guy in a video painting sash window frames. That's just weird. I mean, unless you've been filming me or someone else has.
Send us a link to this video.
I want to see it. What does he look like?
Yeah, and on a video of Hank, well, riding in the rain.
No, he's presenting in the rain. He's presenting the pro bike, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it's what it says. Poor James suffering in the rain. Someone get this man an umbrella.
No, he loves it, doesn't he?
No, he don't really mind.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. Yeah, doesn't care one bit. And underneath last week's show, Callum Gill said the ultimate car for a cyclist or mountain biker is a 90s or noughties Subaru Outback or Forester. Oh, I don't know. Actually, yeah, my mate had an Impreza estate. That was terrible for bikes. But yeah, Forester. I think Ed Clancy had one of those. Twin turbo. Yeah. What would be your ideal car?
Well, this is purely speculative, and the manufacturer in question will have to send me one so that I can confirm this. But I would speculate that the best car would be a McLaren 570S, as used by Bahrain Merida.
Yeah, good point. Or it could well be the Jaguar that Team Sky used a couple of years ago. That was highly practical as well, wasn't it?
F-Type R, the V8.
Yeah, especially scooped out boot, wasn't it? So a wheel could get in there. Something like that.
Well, you can put a sea sucker on the back, can't you?
You're right, yeah, you could. Right, anyway, do stay tuned to the channel because we've got loads of great content coming up, haven't we? Because you're off to the Tour de France.
I am. I'm going now, actually.
Are you? Okay. All right, mate. Okay, well, just remember to like and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking on the like button, the subscribe button, and also that little bell so you get notifications each and every time we put a video live. And now for 2 more great videos, how about clicking just down here and just down here. And also, don't forget to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We've got all sorts for you.